I'm Menzalji. I'm the COO of Akash Network.
And what do you guys do at Akash?
We're a distributed multi-cloud. A simple way to think about it is we're basically Airbnb for data centers. We help Cosmos nodes and a lot of the infrastructure within the ecosystem and beyond decentralize their web stack, basically.
How did you guys first came into contact with Cosmos?
So OverclockLabs, the creators of Akash Network, have been trying to solve this problem for a variety of years. The entity itself was formed in 2015. At the time, the founders, Greg and Adam, were exploring Ethereum, a variety of different blockchains, but it wasn't viable, especially when our thesis behind this was to reduce the centralization of cloud, but also reduce cost of the cloud. And if you're trying to host a website for like $3 a month, but the gas fees are $15 per transaction, it doesn't make it viable. So Greg and Adam actually came across Tendermint much later, actually, when it was starting, and the further they evaluated it, it just made sense that there's a sovereign chain that is app specific to the problem that you are solving. So we've been believers in Tendermint and the Cosmos SDK in 2017, 2018, and then we launched our testnet and mainnet around 2020.
And what are your objectives this week at Cosmoverse?
Get to know the ecosystem, meet a lot of the VCs, a lot of the teams here, and just learn a little bit about what they're doing, where they're going, how their roadmap actually complements ours, and how we can actually complement what they're doing. So the objective here is just to contribute back to the ecosystem that we belong in.
On that note, what would you say is the most exciting thing about the Cosmos ecosystem?
The most exciting thing about the Cosmos ecosystem that I've come across so far are we've come across a lot of Ethereum dev agencies that are migrating quite a bit to Cosmos. But really right now, the feature sets within Cosmos, interchain accounts, IBCs, Atom 2.0, MEV to Osmosis, I think there's a lot of network effects that are beginning to essentially position Cosmos as an ecosystem of the future, where there's a renaissance explosion of activity. When you combine the Cosmos SDK, the modularity behind it, the sovereignty behind it, with CosmWasm integration and IBC, you create, these are essentially the network, or the ingredients for network effects to actually take shape. And it aligns very well with mirroring, echoing exactly how the internet actually scaled to begin with. You don't scale it in a monolithic version, you scale it in a very decentralized and distributed version that's complementary of each other. So when you have interchain accounts, a dApp on Juno, talking to Osmosis, being hosted on Akash, and using Juno to pay for it all, it becomes a really interesting use case where you've kind of reduced the barrier to entry for a lot of people, increased the utility of that particular asset, but also, again, complements a variety of different applications and chains in the process.
If you had to choose one project that you think is not getting the attention it deserves, what would it be?
You know what? I don't know. I think there's a lot of projects right now that are getting the attention that they deserve based on the value that they generate. If you are not generating the value, I am of the believer that the market is the ultimate judge, and it dictates attention. If you're not delivering value and you're not receiving attention, I think that's appropriate. But right now, I think everybody's complementing each other, everybody's working with each other, and one of our theses behind all of our partnerships is we're receiving a lot of attention from all these specific chains that have incredible validator communities, and they are working with us to understand how they can distribute their validators' infrastructure so it could be decentralized. They don't want to end up like with 60 or 70% of their validator nodes on AWS. So when we actually partner with an Osmosis, or whether Juno, or whether it's a brand new network with no visibility, anything that we want to do, we want to cross-promote, cross-pollinate ecosystems and communities, and eventually that begins bootstrapping attention for new chains, but the larger chains and their communities, we can actually educate together. So, that's how I would answer that question.
For people that are listening to us, how can they help you guys at Akash Network, and how can they contribute?
A variety of different ways. First, if you're a node operator within the entire Cosmos ecosystem, migrate to Akash and begin saving quite a bit of money and distribute your stack. Two, we'd love more integration partners into the ecosystem. So if there's something that you're building, whether it's a platform, a marketplace, and you want to begin integrating Akash into your ecosystem, please reach out to us so we can understand how we can better help you and contribute to your efforts so that you're not worried about the infrastructure side of things, and that puts it on us. And we'd love to also contribute back to the ecosystem. So, this community is all about a two-way street, and wherever we can exchange values is how we can help each other.
And where can they find out more about Akash?
Go to akash.network and follow us on Twitter. We host Twitter Spaces every Wednesday, and that gives the community insights into what we're building, what our visions are for the future, what features are coming, what partners are on the pipeline, and basically things that are really attractive that's right around the corner for us.
If you had to say one sentence about why people should learn more about Akash, what would that be?
If you value a free and open market that goes against monopolistic control, where only 2 or 3 entities dictate what you can do on the cloud, how you can do it, what you should pay for it. If you would prefer that model, don't support us. But if you value freedom, censorship resistance, and sovereignty when it comes to cloud applications where a few players don't control what you can and cannot do, then that's why you should be supporting us.
Happy to meet you. Thank you for taking the time to answer a few questions, and have a blast this week at Cosmoverse.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thanks, man.